You care. You care so much. You care about what they will think. You care if that message will be answered. You care if your project will be a success or a failure. You care about the numbers, the likes, the whispered criticisms, and the compliments that never come. You care about not disappointing your parents, your children, your partner. It's the image you've created of yourself. Your heart is a satellite dish, tuned day and night to the frequency of external validation, picking up every signal, every fluctuation, every nuance of approval or disapproval. And this ... is exhausting. It is a way of living in a prison without bars where the jailers are. The opinions and expectations of a world that, most of the time, isn't even paying attention. You strive, you stretch, you mold yourself, trying to control every outcome, every perception. And at the end of the day, the only thing you truly control is your own level of anxiety and frustration. But what if there was another way, path? That sounds like sacrilege to our culture of effort and worry. What if the key to peace, to power, and ironically, to the very success you so deeply crave, is not to care more, but to care less? The title of our meeting today is a paradox. When you stop caring, everything starts to work out. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? It sounds like apathy, like giving up. But what if I told you this isn't about becoming indifferent to life, but about becoming selectively invulnerable? Napoleon Hill, the man who mapped the psychology of success, understood this truth at a profound level. Behind his teachings of burning desire and persistence, there was a more subtle secret: the mastery of the mind. The ability to direct your emotional energy with the precision of a laser surgeon, focusing only on what builds and ruthlessly discarding everything that drains. Today, we're not going to talk about more things to do. We are going to talk about the things to stop doing. We're going to embark on a journey to the heart of personal freedom, unveiling the 3 levels of stopping caring that, when mastered, will cause the universe to stop fighting against you and start conspiring in your favor. Prepare to touch the soul of true strength. The first and loudest tyrant in our lives is the fear of what others will think. It is the fear of criticism, of judgment, of ridicule. Napoleon Hill classified it as one of the 6 basic fears that paralyze humanity. It is a force so powerful that it makes us abandon our most authentic dreams in exchange for the lukewarm safety of belonging to the crowd. We live our lives editing our thoughts, our words, and our actions, not to align with our truth, but to conform to the audience. We care so much about the opinions of people. We don't even know that we sacrifice the only opinion that truly matters, our own in the universe. Sensing this lack of conviction, this lack of a center, responds with equally unstable and uncertain results. So how do we stop caring about the opinions of others? Hill's answer is both simple and profound. You must have a definite chief aim so large, so luminous, so all-consuming, that it simply eclipses the opinions of others. It's not about fighting the fear of criticism. It's about making your purpose so important that criticism becomes irrelevant. Background noise. Imagine a ship's captain navigating through a furious storm. He is focused on his compass, his map, his destination. He does not stop the ship to ask the fish what they think of his route. He is not distracted by the sound of the waves crashing against the hull. The opinion of the waves is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is reaching the safe harbor. Your definite chief aim is your compass. It is your safe harbor. When you know with every fiber of your being where you are going, the opinions of scared passengers or critics on the shore lose all their power. You stop caring about what they say, not out of arrogance, but out of focus. Your energy is too precious to be spent on debates that do not lead you to your destination. This is your first act of liberation. Define your purpose. Write it down. Feel it. Fall in love with it. Make it the first thing you think about in the morning and the last thing at night. And watch how, slowly, the volume of the world turns down and the clarity of your own inner voice turns up. You begin to move with a new authority, a new calmness. The calmness of one who knows where they are going, regardless of who is watching. But then, second tyrant emerges, more subtle and perhaps more treacherous. We have defined our purpose. We are focused, but now we become obsessed with controlling the how. We want the detailed step-by-step map of how we will reach our destination. We care so much about every detail of the plan that any deviation, any unexpected event, throws us into a state of panic and anxiety. We try to micromanage the universe, and the universe does not respond well to micromanagement. This need to control. The how is actually a deep lack of faith disguised as planning. It's telling the universe, I have a dream, but I don't trust you to help me achieve it. So, I will force every piece into place. And life, which is a flow, becomes a struggle. Everything seems difficult. Obstacles seem insurmountable. This is where the second level of stopping caring comes into play. You must stop caring about the how. And the tool for this, the antidote to control, is faith in infinite intelligence. Napoleon Hill was not just a success strategist, he was a profound mystic. He understood that once the human mind defines a what with clarity and burning desire, a greater force, infinite intelligence, begins to orchestrate the how in ways our logical mind could never conceive. To stop caring about the how is the greatest act of faith you can practice. It is your part of the divine contract. Your responsibility is the clarity of the vision and the intensity of the desire. The universe's responsibility is the logistics. How does this work in practice? It means you set your goal, you impress it upon your subconscious mind through auto-suggestion, and then you act. But you do not act with desperation, trying to force doors open. You act based on inspired action. Pay attention to the signs, the hunches, the ideas that come out of nowhere. You trust the chance encounters that seem too meaningful to be coincidences. You take the next step that feels right. Even without seeing the whole staircase, when you stop caring about controlling the how, you create a vacuum. And nature, as we know, abhors a vacuum. This space of trust is filled by infinite intelligence, with synchronicities, opportunities, and creative solutions. The right people call you. The right book falls off the shelf. The solution to a problem that tormented you for weeks appears in a dream. Everything starts to work out, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. You stopped rowing against the current and finally raised your sails so the wind of grace could carry you. Finally, we arrive at the third and deepest level. You've defined your purpose, you've surrendered the how to faith, but you are still anxiously checking the results every 5 minutes. Launch your project and obsess over the first day's numbers. You start a new practice and get frustrated for not seeing a radical transformation in the first week. You care so much about the immediate result that the journey becomes a torment. And this energy of anxiety, of impatience, of neediness actually repels the very outcome you desire. The universe does not respond well to the energy of lack, responds to the energy of conviction. To stop caring about the immediate result is the final test of your faith. It is the demonstration that your belief in the final destination is so strong that you do not need validation at every step of the way. And the tool for this is persistence based on faith. Hill discovered that persistence was the quality that more than any other separated those who won from those who gave up on the brink of success. But it is not a stubborn, blind persistence. It is a calm, confident, almost serene persistence. It is the persistence of a farmer. A farmer plants a seed and does not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. He does not yell at the seed, demanding it become a tree overnight. He understands there is a process, a gestation period, does his part. He waters the soil, he protects it from weeds, and then he trusts. He cares about the daily process of tending, but he does not care about the exact timetable of the harvest. He knows that if he does his part, the harvest is inevitable. You must fall in love with the process of watering your seed. Fall in love with the daily actions you can control and detach from the results you cannot. Celebrate the act of writing. The article, not the number of views. Celebrate the act of making the call, not whether it resulted in an immediate sale. Celebrate the act of going to the gym, not the number on the scale. When you stop caring about the immediate result, something magical happens. The pressure vanishes. The journey becomes lighter, more joyful. And this energy of detachment, of trust in the process, is incredibly magnetic. The universe begins to accelerate the results for you because you have proven that you do not need them to feel whole. So, what is this divine indifference that makes everything work out? It is not apathy, it is wisdom. It is to stop caring about the opinions of others and to focus on your purpose. It is to stop caring about the how and to focus on faith. And it is to stop caring about the immediate result and to focus on the process. It is a strategic redirection of your emotional energy. You withdraw your power from the external world, which is fickle and chaotic, and you anchor it in your inner world, the only place where you have real control. And when you are anchored in your purpose, moved by faith, and in love with the process, you become a force of nature. You become unshakable, and the world, which once seemed like an adversary, suddenly becomes a dance partner. Doors open. The right people appear. Resources flow. Everything starts to work out, not because you stopped wanting, but because you've stopped doubting. You stopped interfering. You finally got out of your own way. If you have felt the truth behind these words, if your soul yearns for this freedom, then know that this was not a casual encounter. This was a calling. An invitation to lay down the weapons of struggle and worry. Make a pact with yourself today. Like this video, not as a simple click, but as an act of declaring your intention. To live with more faith and less fear. Subscribe to Temple of the Mind to continue strengthening this new mindset. And as your first act of liberation, comment below. Which of the 3 things do you commit to stop caring about starting today? The opinions of others, the how, or the immediate result? Your peace is not in the future. It is in your decision to set yourself free now.